Hi, welcome to 90% Knitting. This is episode 244, and I'm Lisa, your host, also known as Fiber Nymph on Ravelry and Instagram. And speaking of Instagram, Fiber Nymph is my personal account, but there is the new Fiber Nymph Dye Works Instagram account, which is specifically for me to post things about my yarn dyeing business. So if you're interested in following that, I would encourage you to follow that account. You're welcome to follow both. My personal account I actually do have marked as private, so I have to approve anybody who wants to follow me. That's mainly to keep creepy people away because I've had some. But my business one is just open. You can join it at any time. And as I will mention later on, there's still one more $25 gift certificate drawing to be done this coming Saturday. For new followers to the new account. So I've already given 2 away. There's 1 more to go. So if you haven't followed the Fiber Nymph Dye Works Instagram account yet, you might want to get in on that if you're interested in getting a $25 gift certificate possibly. Other places that you can find me and information about the podcast and about my business across the interwebs. There's a 90% knitting group on Ravelry, which is where I post episode threads with show notes. And then there is also the Fiber Nymph Dye Works group on Ravelry, which is where I post anything related to my shop. And it's also currently hosting the Summertime Knit Along, which begins today, and we'll be talking about that a little bit later as well as the quarterly finished object drawings and any news about updates and where I'm vending. I try to post all of that stuff in that group. And lastly, there is the Fiber Nymph Dye Works page on Facebook, which is an excellent place to check in. If you want to follow that page or like that page, I guess on Facebook you like things so that you can follow them. That's sort of my clearinghouse spot where I post information about when new podcasts go up, anything about the shop, updates, new colorways, knit-alongs. It's kind of everything goes there. So if you want like one place to go to find almost everything you need to know, the Facebook page is probably the best page. But I will leave that up to you. At any rate, I'm really glad you're here today. So thank you for checking in on me, or with me, not on me. I'm fine. Let's see, let me welcome a couple of people. We had Charlotte, who is from Spain, and Joanne, who's in Wisconsin, both introduced themselves in the 90% Knitting group in the welcome thread. So welcome to both of you. Thank you for saying hi. It's always great to read those introductions. And other than that, I've got a lot of knitting to show you this week. It's very exciting because, as you know, if you've been following, Stash Dash has started. And in addition to, I'm sorry, I have a headache. I'm working on day 2 of a headache. It's not a migraine because I don't really get migraines, but it's a headache that just doesn't want to go away. So I'm sorry. I'll try to resist cringing. It's really not that horrible. It's just irritating. Anyway, what was I saying? Stash Dash did start. And so I had a whole bunch of projects that were really close to being finished, and I jumped on those. Plus, I had 19 and a half hours of driving time. Well, car time. I was not driving most of that this past weekend. So that was a big help towards getting some things finished. If you're used to watching the podcast, you might notice a change in my background here. There used to be a bookcase here, and there is no longer a bookcase. That is because last weekend we did a quick down and back trip to Charlotte to take furniture down to my daughter. If you remember, she graduated college the weekend prior, so we were down there. And then I was home exactly 3 days before we turned around, packed up the trailer, and went back down. So yeah, it was a crazy week last week. I'm feeling like I'm behind on almost everything, but amazingly enough, I managed to get knitting done. So we're going to talk about that, and I'll talk a little bit more about the trip maybe later on. Like I said, it was a really fast trip, but I now have less furniture in my house, which is awesome because eventually I'm going to have to get rid of all of it and move all of it. So the more I can pawn off on my daughter, the better. All right. Let's talk about finished objects because I've got several, and the first one I'm wearing, you might have already noticed it, and it just sort of looks I'm not sure yet how I have it thrown on, but this is my Find Your Fade. I finished it. This was my first project for the car knitting that I wanted to finish. And this green section here, the Willoughby, that was my final part. So, and as I did with the section prior to that, or the color prior to that, I modified it and made it smaller than what the pattern actually called for. This has not been blocked yet. I'm not in a huge hurry to block it, to tell you the truth, because it's so big and it's fairly open and it's garter stitch. I mean, I know the lace will open up more once it's blocked. I have not measured this, so I can't even tell you how long it is. Here, I'll take it off though for a second, although I'm actually chilly. Oh my gosh, I'm hanging myself with it. Hang on. It's huge. Goodness gracious. Okay. Yeah, it felt actually really good because I'm cold. Yeah, I thought it was warmer out when I got dressed today. So anyway, so here it is in all its lovely glory. So we've got, this was a sock blank, a hand-painted sock blank of mine. And these are all my yarns. So this was a happenstance sock blank with sparkle. I know you can't really see the sparkle in it on, oh, there you can a little bit. Okay, so that's that. And then this one is Half Moon, my Half Moon colorway on Bounce. And then we've got Dickinson on Bedazzled. So I alternated. Every other one is sparkly. This one is Imagine, and that was on Bounce. This one is Smooth Sailing Sunny Skies on Bedazzled. And then the next to the last one is Runaway on Bounce. And then the final one was Willoughby on Bedazzled. So it's a little sparkly in there too. As I said, I did modify the last two colors, the sections in the last two colors, to make them smaller because, number one, I just wanted to finish this, and number two, it was already so big. So honestly, like, this is the long point. Like, you've got this point because the center line becomes offset partway through the pattern. So this is the piece that continues to be long. So if I hold this out, let's see. Oh boy, that's even longer than my wingspan. Hold on. All right. So this is my wingspan. So I'm like 5'4". So we'll estimate that's 5 feet. And I've basically got it held out again. So 10 feet. So it's over 10 feet long. And when it's blocked, I'm sure it'll be a little bit longer. I would say the depth, the greatest depth, is probably close to 3 feet. So from here to here. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not doing a good job of holding this up. But I'm glad it's finished. I love it. I love all the colors, and I love being able to see them all when it is wrapped around me. I'm going to try to just throw this around me again real quick because, again, my arms are cold. I have no idea what the right way is to style this. No clue. Not really too worried about it. Because honestly, other than taking it to shows to have as a sample at my shows, it's probably not going to be something that I'm going to carry around with me to wear. At least I cannot envision myself doing that. I think it'll be something that I just kind of wrap around myself when I'm at home and want something warm and cozy to wear. Oh boy, okay. It looked better the first time, but again, we're just going to we're going to leave it on me. That's awesome, right? That's so stylish. Yeah, okay, whatever. I may take it off in a little bit because it looks really wonky now. But I'm cold and it's warm. Anyway, that's the Find Your Fade by Andrea Mowry. Everybody and their uncle, I think, has knit one of these or is in the process of it. She's got the So Faded sweater pattern out now, which is very similar. You know, the way you do the fades with the colors. I have, oh, here. I will tell you how much yardage I totally ended up using. 1,466 yards total, which my meters then is 1,341 if you're interested. Anyway, that's a big chunk of yarn. So I'm pretty thrilled with that, just for the fact that it's an awesome large project. And it gave me a whole lot of meterage to start off my my stash dash. Actually, I didn't start off. I had 2 other things finished before I finished this, but this is the biggie. So anyway, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just like threw that over me. Yes, I'm a professional knitwear wearer. I don't know. Whatever. Maybe I will just drape it around me right now. There, that's good. I just really need my upper arms covered because I'm cold. Okay, I could close my window. That might help too, but that would require me to get up and move stuff so I can actually access my window. You don't want to even know what my office looks like right now. Because when I had to take this bookcase down to my daughter, all the stuff that was on that bookcase had to go somewhere. And I didn't have any good place to put it, so there's kind of stuff everywhere. It's organized, it's just stacked up in strange ways. All right, anyway, that's my Find Your Fade. It is finished. I'm happy. And the yarn that I have left over, I've already started doing a pair of socks out of the sock blank that was that very first piece. But the other 6 colors, I'm actually thinking I might do socks out of them too. I know other people have started doing that, kind of like doing fade socks. I'm considering doing that. It's not something I'm going to do super soon, but it's an idea. I may. Because honestly, there's not as much yarn left over from it as I thought there would be. Some colorways use almost the entire ball, so it's pretty awesome. Okay, so now I have this back behind my chair. I am so sorry. I'm like just fidgeting like crazy today. Alrighty, so the first thing that I finished once Friday got here and Stash Dash officially began was this hat that I showed you last week. I had it all done except for like the very top, and I finished that first thing Friday. So I have this, it's just my random striped hat. I made it out of Fiber Nymph Dye Works Cozy Base in dark brown, and it was just sort of an off green, like it's a variegated green that I dyed for some purpose. I don't even remember what, but it was in my stash. So I just did that. It's just a pretty vanilla hat. It's got a, you know, a ribbed brim that you can fold up, and then I just alternated the yarns to make stripes and did my decreases. No real pattern there. And I did it again on US 5s and 84 stitches. The other one that I made, I believe, was DK weight. I think that was my bona fide base. This is my worsted weight base, but it still worked with the 5s. It's just a nice dense hat, and you want that because you want your hats to be warm. So this was my first one, and so this ended up, and I know you probably don't care about my final yardage and stuff, but I'm going to tell you anyway. 161 yards, 150 meters. So there you go. What else? The next thing I finished after this was, oh, but that's actually not a finished object. That was a half finished object. I'll show you that later. So the hat was first. Then I finished this in the car on Saturday. And then on the car, this honestly, that last section, even though it was smaller, it took me pretty much all my knitting time, which again, you know, we stopped places and we, you know, I drove some, so I wasn't knitting continuously, but I did spend all of my knitting time on that. Sunday on the way back, my knitting time was spent finishing up the Mountain House winter socks. And yes, I know they're on 2 different sock blockers, but that's because I don't know where all my sock blockers are. So this is the best I could do. But these socks are done, thank goodness. Oh my gosh. The last time you saw these, I was having afterthought heel issues because I had misjudged or miscalculated where to put in my afterthought heel. I was only allowing 2 inches. Well, no, that's not correct, is it? I think I was accounting for 3 inches, but I cut it for 2 inches. No, I was allowing for, how did I do this? I did this wrong. The foot needed to be like 9.5 inches long. I think I cut it at like 6.5 inches, but then my heel only ended up being 2 extra inches. So I was short by 1 inch. So what I ended up doing was I tore the heel out and I re-knit the afterthought heel in one of the socks. That was the first thing I did. And I did the straight rounds a little bit longer than I usually would. And the first 3 decreases that I did, I put 2 straight knitting rounds between them instead of just 1. And that did give me some extra length. However, I had Bill try the sock on, and it was still too short. Actually, I think I did this in the car on Saturday too, the very first sock, because that night I had him try this on and it was still too tight. And he's like, oh, it's fine, it'll stretch. I'm like, no, socks don't really stretch lengthwise, not very well. So Sunday, what I ended up doing, since the heel was fine, I wasn't going to rip the heel out again. I just said I needed to rip the toe out, knit another inch in the foot, and then redid the toe. So that's what I did. So the first sock was finished and it was fine. And then the second sock, before I even did the heel, I ripped the toe out of that one, re-knit the toe, adding the extra inch of length, and then went ahead and did the heel, doing it the same way I did the first one with the extra straight rounds and then the extra rounds between the first few decreases. And they fit great now. They're actually maybe a little too roomy, but I know they'll snug up a little bit the first time they're washed. So anyway, these socks are done. I've not been so happy to have a pair of socks done in a really, really long time. He's not even going to wear them till fall anyway, so it's not a big deal, but I'm just glad to have them finished. And I'm going to take them off the sock blockers so that I can show you my next finished object. So anyway, I used a lot of that yarn too. The Mountain House socks ended up using 312 yards, and that's out of a 400-yard skein. I usually use a little under 300 yards, but Bill likes his cuffs long, so I did them a little longer than I do my cuffs usually. So that's another 285 meters. Yay! Alrighty, so let me get my camera screen back here. So then the next item that I finished, oh gosh, now where did it go? Oh, here it is another pair of socks. I've got a lot of socks that are like super close to being done, so those are kind of the first things I'm doing. Okay, and these are those Patton's Croy Effect socks that had started out as my 9-inch circular needle experiment socks. And after I got the cuff done of the first one, I pretty much decided that I didn't like knitting on 9-inch circulars, and so I just switched them over to a longer circular and did them magic loop, which was much, much better. So anyway, I had the socks both finished. They just needed their afterthought heels, and so I did that, I don't remember, the other morning, maybe Monday morning, Tuesday morning, I don't know, I don't remember. One morning this week. And these are very roomy socks. If you remember while I was knitting them, I realized that, first of all, the Patton's Croy Effects is it's a dense yarn, and it's a heavier weight yarn. It's more of a sport weight than a fingering weight, I would say, after working with it. But I was using US 1.5s. I probably could have gone up to US 2s or 2.5s. And definitely I could have decreased my stitch count because I just did the usual 60 stitches that I normally do for fingering weight socks. So you can see even on my sock blockers how baggy they are. And on my feet they're baggy too. Somebody suggested, making them for my husband instead, but honestly we wear pretty much the same size socks, so that wouldn't be helpful. So anyway, they're bulletproof. The fabric is so dense because I did them on the 1.5s. But honestly, they're going to be really nice and warm. I don't anticipate wearing these inside of shoes. I'll probably wear them like up at the Mountain House in the winter. They will be definitely nice and warm because it gets chilly up there. My feet are always cold. So they'll be great house socks for the winter. But they definitely, I've got more Patton's Croy Effects in my stash. I will definitely be going up in needle size and down in stitch count when I do those socks though. But I'm very happy with them. I love this colorway. I don't remember what colorway it is. It's on my project page. It's just a number if you really want to know. I feel like I've been showing them a million times. It kind of fell off my show notes at this point. But anyway, yep, finished. So that was another Stash Dash project. And that was 2 50-gram skeins. That's how that comes, and that was a total of 299 yards for 273 grams. I think there was maybe 151 yards per ball, something like that. So No, no, no. Well, you know what? That actually could be right because here's what I have left. Where's the other one? This is all I had left of those two Patton's Croy balls. I pretty much used almost everything. I mean, I could have maybe done a few more rounds or something, but this is it. So I like that when I really use up a lot of yarn. That's excellent. All right, so that's what I finished this week. I feel like I really made a good dent in things. Oh, here, I need to make one of my sock blockers naked again so I can show you the other item, the half-finished object. And this is what I showed you last week, that I was going to wait until Stash Dash started to finish it so that it would count as a finished object for Stash Dash, even though it's just a single sock, but you're allowed to do that in Stash Dash. So if I don't finish the second one, I can still count this one. So this was my anniversary colorway this year that I dyed up, Never Not Color. And so this was the first Never Not Color sock that I did. And I just did a slip stitch heel on this one rather than afterthought heels. I'm kind of over the afterthought heels for right now, to tell you the truth. I'm tired of them. I still like them. I just don't feel like doing them right now. So you're going to probably be seeing heel flaps for a while. But I like it. I mean, it does mess up the striping pattern a bit, but I don't care. So this is the first one. It fits really well, and it's done. So that will count eventually. I did not bother to add it into my finished totals yet. I'm sorry, my neck. It's probably why my head hurts, probably, because my neck's screwy right now. Anyway, yeah, I did not add it to my finished totals yet. I did claim my spot in the Stash Dash, the finished threads, the finish line threads, and I'll talk about that in a second. And I have posted those other 4 projects, but I did not post this sock because I'm hoping I will get the second one done. It's cast on, like barely. Yeah, just barely, because I have something else that I have cast on too that is more of a priority, but it's started anyway. And having the socks started is always half the battle. At least I find that. As long as I cast it on, it has a good chance of getting finished in a timely manner. Not always, but often. Okay, so that's that. And that's on my bounce base. Did I mention that? Bounce base. Okay. Oh boy, now I'm flinging these ties. Let's see. Gotta find my show notes again. All right, where am I? Oh, okay. Another sock that I did work on is the Bold Berry Swirl Splash Pad Parfait socks. This was the colorway that I dyed up for the splash pad party that is in the Down Cellar Studio this summer, which that starts today too, the splash pad party. So here's how far I got. I've got the cuff. Did the cuff a little shorter than the ones I did for Bill and for those purple ones actually. Those purple ones I did not intend to have be that long, but I was doing those a lot in the movies, and so I kept knitting and knitting and knitting. So yeah. Anyway, again, I'm doing a heel flap. I'm not quite done with this heel flap actually, which is why it's still there. But I love how the colors are knitting up. I love these swirl stripes. They make me so happy. And you're going to be seeing more of these colorways this summer because I've got a collection of them that I'm going to be doing. And I'll talk about that a little more in the shop part of the show. But if you like this look where you have, you know, solid stripes with these fun variegated and speckled stripes in between, then just stay tuned because more of those will be coming. The pre-orders for the Splash Pad colorway are over now. Yesterday was the last day for that. So I hope you got yours. If I have any extras after I dye up the last of them, and there may be like one skein left, I will put it in the shop. But otherwise, this is an exclusive colorway for the Splash Pad party. So, okay. So that was everything that I worked on that you have seen. I cast on, let's see, where is it? Oh, it's in this bag. I cast on a new pair of socks because, you know, I finished 2 pair, and when you finish a pair of socks, you're allowed to cast on a new one. So I think that was pretty restrained of me to only cast on 1. But this is the pair that I cast on this week. Let's see. Get all the yarn out of the way. This is my Squish 2.0 base, which is the Corriedale Nylon Blend base in the Skittles colorway. And I am making these for my daughter for her birthday, which is in August. So here it is in the skein. She'll love this. I think I'm going to wrap it up with like a big bag of Skittles for her. But yeah, I've only been working on these a couple of days. I'm doing this same US ones, my normal needle, 60 stitches. What I'm doing, just to keep it a little bit interesting, is I'm doing a modified vanilla bean recipe. The vanilla bean recipe by Emily O'Grady. I can't remember if that's her maiden name or her married name now. Anyway, she did the vanilla bean recipe. It wasn't really a full sock pattern, but it was a recipe for self-striping yarn where every time you come to a color change, you slip a stitch the whole way around, so you get that cute little I don't know if it's a zigzaggy kind of look. It's kind of like a toothy look, I guess. I don't know. I did it up here starting with the red and the orange, although, well, you can see it pretty well on the screen. When I'm looking at it here, I don't see it quite as well. So anyway, but I'm not doing it every color change. I'm doing it every other color change because this is a 5-color colorway, a 5-stripe colorway. So as I progress through the sock, that slip stitch will happen between all of the color pairs eventually. It's just not going to happen on every one. So I like how they're turning out. I think she'll enjoy them. She always likes hand knit socks. She's very knit worthy. So anyway, and those will definitely be done for her birthday. So that will definitely be a stash dash item. And it's in my Star Knits hedgehog bag. Hedgehog and mushrooms. Okay, so I've worked on that. And then the last thing that I've been working on that I don't even have in my show notes because I picked it up yesterday and after I wrote my show notes, is the shawl that I'm making for my mom for her birthday, which is also in August. Their birthdays are like 3 days apart. And our anniversary is right in the middle of both of them. So let me get this untangled. So this is just my default elongated triangular shawl pattern that I'm doing. So I'm doing an increase on each end and along the center spine on the right side, and then I'm just doing the increases on the ends on the wrong side. That's how you get the elongated shape. Anyway, this is just, it's going to be a nice, lightweight, summery kind of shawl because she liked the one that I made for myself last year out of the Elsbeth of Old Hempathy and the Katia linen. I wasn't giving her that one. I've told you this before because that one was the one I started on our trip where we got engaged. So it has special meaning for me. But this one is the same yarns, just slightly, actually this color is the same color that I used in mine, but I bought these 3 other colors of Hempathy to use with it. So let me see if I have, do I have the labels? Nope, that's the linen label. I don't have, well, the balls are already out, so I don't have the color numbers with the balls, but they are on my project page if you want to know what they are. So basically, I'll just be alternating between these garter stitch sections. Oh my goodness, excuse me, I'm like hiccuping now. I'm like falling apart today or something. So anyway, I've got these garter stitch sections, and then I'll be doing these eyelet rows sections with some of the neutral color in between each one. And the way I'm envisioning this right now is each garter stitch section will get a little wider, and each of these sections with the color will get wider as well because I'll double them. So like the next one I'll do pink, yellow, green, and then go back to the neutral color. At least that's what I'm planning to do right now. That's subject to change because honestly I'm just kind of doing this on the fly. The other thing I do plan to do is to weave in my ends as I go along. I need to do this first set of ends because that is a lot of ends, and I didn't want to carry the neutral color up along the side of the other colors because I just thought that would be really obvious, and I don't know. I probably could, but maybe I'll try it and see what it looks like. Okay, and I think I'm knitting that on a US 7. Oh, did I just lose a stitch? I think I just lost a stitch. Hold on. I really need to put stoppers or something on these needles. Yes, US 7s. These are Knitter's Pride Dreams. I like these. This yarn is splitty. I will say that. The linen, both the linen and the hempathy, but especially the linen, is very splitty. And so I'm not really sure what the best needles would be to use with it. I'm trying to be careful that I'm not splitting a lot of the yarn as I go. Okay, so that's everything I worked on. It has been a very prolific week, I've got to say. Sorry, can I get another drink of tea? This is Twinings pomegranate raspberry. I'm almost out of it. I need to get more. All right, so that takes us to the knit along, the year in the life of a knitter knit along. And May is now over, so that means prizes. I've got prizes to give out. And as soon as I find my piece of paper, I can do that. Okay, so we had, oh boy, okay, I have to find my other note, which is on my phone. Okay, we had 205 entries in the month of May, which is, there's actually 209, but 4 of them were mine. I can't believe I only posted 4 times in that thread in May. That's horrible. I need to get better. But honestly, I was traveling a lot in May. It was a crazy month. So cut me some slack. So anyway, there were 205 entries for May that were not mine, which means I am giving out 4 prizes again this month because there's 1 prize for each group of 50 posts. I mean, that's not how I pool them, but you know, for every 50 posts, 1 prize becomes available. And I have 5 prizes to choose from so that when you hear your name, if you're one of the winners, please let me know what your choice is, number 1, 2, 3, and 4 out of these 5 prizes. So, the first prize is a skein of Atomic Nebula on Sunshine. I had a few of these, and I've given all these other ones out as prizes. This is the last skein. I think it's the last skein of Sunshine that I have at all that I could give away because I'm not dying on this base anymore in the shop. So, Atomic Nebula, which is a tonal, there's purples, different purples in it. That's 1 prize. The next prize is a skein of Elegance, which is my lace weight base, merino and silk lace weight, in the Total Eclipse colorway. So it's got all these burnt oranges and golds in it. So June is lace weight month, so if you need some lace weight to knit with and you're the winner, maybe grab that. Or if you want to knit something in honor of the total eclipse that will be happening later this summer, here you go. Third, we've got fiber. This is Willoughby on Falkland. And again, if you are a spinner, fantastic. You can have this and spin it. I am not going to be able to offer to spin it for you. So if you're not a spinner, you're going to have to either know somebody who is one or learn how to spin. But it is one of the fiber choice, or one of the choices. And oh my gosh, where is... Oh, it's sitting right in front of me. Boy. We've got a Color Tracks hat kit. So the pattern, Color Tracks, is by Melissa Transtrom. And then the hat kit includes the yarn for it. And this one is the soft black and scarlet color combination to make the hat. And lastly, the 5th prize that you have to choose from is any pattern that is giftable on Ravelry up to a $10 value. If you choose that one, just let me know what pattern or patterns that add up to $10 US, and I will gift those to you through Ravelry. So 5 prizes, 4 winners. Everybody should be happy with something, hopefully. So let me announce the winners. The first winner, and this makes me laugh because she's won a couple of times recently, I think, in this knit along, but she also participates a lot, is Sarah, PA Knitwit, for her post number 328. And she knit a beautiful sweater. It's lovely, and that was her post for that one. So congratulations, Sarah. Whenever you hear this, let me know which prize you would like. I'm guessing it might be the fiber, but if it's not, that's fine too. Sarah's a fabulous spinner. Anyway, so congratulations, Sarah. The next one that Random Number Generator chose was post number 349, and that is Christine, who is Iona Paint, and I think you have won also in our knit along this year. So congratulations. Let me know which prize, which order of prizes you would like. Give me options, because you know, depending on how they come in, you're going to get the one that's available. It's the whole first come first serve thing. All right, the third one was number 360, and that is Silly Mom, SYLLYMOM, who is Sylvia, and that's a really cute name. Not Sylvia. Well, Sylvia is a very nice name, but I liked how you did Silly Mom with the Y, and I realized why after I saw your name was Sylvia. Okay, you are our third knit along winner for May, so please let me know which prize order you would like, and I will get you the first one that's available. So congratulations, Sylvia. And I think she had socks. I think almost all of the posts, if not all of them. Let me look, because now I'm wondering. I think they all actually had like finished object posts in them, and that's not always the case because I do this from the chatter thread. Let me see. I know Sarah's was the sweater, and I think Christine's was also a finished object. I know, I'm taking extra time to do this, but I'm really curious. So that would be on the next page back, or maybe even the next page back. I'm not doing this in a very timely manner, am I? Sorry. Yes, hers was socks. Christina's were socks. Oh, she used one of my sparkle blanks. Oh, cool. Oh, I hadn't read that. I'm sorry. I saw them and I thought, oh, that's a really cool socks. I like those. And now it was one of my sock blanks. So yay. Congratulations, Christine. And thank you for showing the pictures of the sock blank. That's pretty awesome. Okay. And then I guess I said number 360. Let me get to that next page. Was Sylvia, and I'm pretty sure Sylvia had a finished object as well. Yes, she also had socks. They look like a pair of Rose City rollers, maybe. She does not say what yarn it is, but that's okay. So anyway, congratulations, Sylvia. And the last winner for May is number 435, and I'm just going to hop there right now so that I can tell you what the post is. Number 435 is Blue and White Cat, who is Irene, and she has a beautiful shawl on her finished object in this. It's a big cozy shawl and fingering weight yarn, she said, and she's got a pretty fluffy kitty sitting there too on the shawl, because that's what cats like to do. If you put a shawl on the floor, a cat's going to sit on it. Even if you don't own a cat's probably going to show up and sit on it. So anyway, well, congratulations, Irene. So please PM me and let me know your choice in the order that you would like a prize out of the ones that I've offered, and I will get that sent off to you. So congratulations to all 4 of our winners. I look forward to getting your prizes to you, and thank you so much for participating in May, and I hope you continue to participate in June. June's going to be fun. June's our last month for the spring quarter of the knit along. So that means at the end of June, I'll not only be doing June prize drawings, but I'll also be doing a quarterly drawing for the spring quarter. So if you've participated at all in the spring quarter, you're entered in the spring quarter drawing. Okay, so that takes care of that. And then there was the May challenge, which was the May flowers element to the knit along, and we had there were 44 posts, but the last one was deleted by whoever posted it, so it ended up being 43 posts. So between 2 and 43, and the random number generator chose post number 43 actually, which was Texas two-stitch. Yeah, I wanted to say two-stitcher like Texas two-stepper, but Texas two-stitch, who is Tia. So congratulations, Tia. And she also knit a very beautiful shawl in the blue bonnet, I believe, the blue bonnet colorway. So let me get to that just so I can look at it one more time. Yes, it is lovely. It's a really long shawl. It's beaded. Oh, Blue Bonnet Highway colorway. That's what it was, the Fairy Hill shawl. So anyway, congratulations, Tia. You have won 2 half skeins of my Bounce semi-solids in Tree Frog Green and Maize. So these two go together really, really well. I love these colors, and hopefully you'll find some kind of project to do with those. So that's your prize. So anyway, any of you winners, congratulations, and please PM me whenever you know that you've won so I can get your prize to you. If you're one of the regular winners, you know, from the May challenge, or not from the May challenge, but one of those 4 May winners, make sure you send me your prize choice list as well as your address. If it's something physical I need to mail to you, which you all need to send me your address unless you only want the patterns. I don't know. Wow. And Tia, I also need your mailing address so I can send those 2 skeins to you as well. All right, so that is May. May is finished. We're in June now. Today is June 1st, so we are in June. Our focus is lace weight. And again, our theme and everything is still the same: growth, life, and light, or just the theme of spring itself. And again, June, the focus is not necessarily, you don't have to actually knit with lace weight, but you can if you want to. The June challenge is the Lacy Luxuries Challenge. I will be putting the finished object thread up for that as soon as I'm done podcasting today. But again, that will be for any non-clothing or accessory item. I changed that a little bit. I said it needs to be something that you're not wearing. And there's such a fine line between that. So no garments, no shawls, nothing like that. I've decided that jewelry is something that you actually wear. So jewelry is not going to be allowed. But accessories, I had a question about bags. And a bag is not something you really wear. That's something you carry. So, so that would be allowed. Sorry. Tickle. A bag would be allowed because it's not something you're actually wearing. You throw it over your shoulder, but you're not really wearing it the way you do with a shawl. Does that make sense? So jewelry is not allowed. Clothing, accessories like shawls and cowls, not allowed. But any other thing is allowed. So household items, dishcloths, bags, candle cozy things, anything of any weight of yarn. It does not have to be lace weight yarn, but it does have to have some sort of lace motif in it. It doesn't have to be completely lace, but it needs to have some sort of a lace motif in it to count. If you do actually use lace weight yarn as it's defined on Ravelry for that yarn as a lace weight, you can post your finished object picture twice and be entered twice. There is no yardage requirement for this June challenge, so have at it. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'll be happy to clarify, but hopefully that clarifies things for now. All right. Next up is we do have a pattern giveaway, and I should have done this last time and it went off my radar, but I'm going to talk about it this week. Jennifer Lassonde, who is Boston Jen, who does the Down Cellar Studio podcast and is also hosting the Splash Pad Party this summer, she has designed a new shawl recently, and it's called the Emelyn Mae Shawl. So I'm going to try to get that to focus so you can see that. It's such a pretty shawl. It's a very long shawl. It's like a long crescent-shaped shawl, but it's an elongated crescent. It's got all kind of textures in it and 2 colors, and the center section in the back is this cabled lace. It's very pretty. She names a lot of her shawls, if not, well, not all of them, but a lot of them she's named after her nieces, and Emelyn is her oldest niece. And so she did this shawl for her with, you know, some elements that would be more like of a grown-up, like that lace is more of a grown-up. But I told her, I thought, you know, with the stripes that are in it, it almost has a reminiscent feel of like a, you know, like a sports jersey, like for a high school team or some sort of team. But then you've also got that more feminine lace going on in there. I think it's a perfect kind of shawl for a young lady, you know. Anyway, she has graciously given me a copy of this to give away to you guys. So I'm going to be starting a thread in the 90% Knitting group. And if you would like to enter to win a copy of the Emelyn Mae Shawl, please enter there by answering the prompt that I will put in there. I haven't decided what the prompt is going to be yet. I'll come up with something. Just answer the prompt, one entry per person, and then I will do the drawing for this on the next regular podcast. So, okay. Lastly, speaking of regular podcasting, I am headed to TNNA next week. I'm not exhibiting. I'm just going. I've never been before, and so this is my first time. I'm just going to check it out, see what it's all about, meet people, talk to people, hopefully. So I'm looking forward to that, but I will be gone next week, Thursday through Sunday. I'm probably not going to do my next regular podcast until after I get back from TNNA. So you can probably look for that like early the following week. I will, however, probably be doing a little shop preview video before that, but I'll talk about that in a minute when I get to the shop news segment. So anyway, no more podcasts until after TNNA. Let's see, we're at 10% now. I've finished listening to the Modern Scholar book lecture series on Rings, Swords, and Monsters Exploring Fantasy Literature by Michael D.C. Drought. I really enjoyed it. I told you about that last week. It's largely about Tolkien. He does go into other things as well, like what preceded Tolkien and then writers who have come after Tolkien. But the whole middle section was very heavy into Tolkien, and I loved it. It was awesome. And now that I've listened to the later sections where he's talking about all these other book series, it's like I want to listen to them. There's some that I really would like to hear or read, probably listen to, because I don't have time to do a whole lot of reading out of books, but I do love my audiobooks. So anyway, that was exciting. I have not downloaded another audiobook quite yet because I have not decided what I want to listen to, and I just got my new Audible credit yesterday. So eventually I will come up with something, but for right now I'm actually re-listening to this one because, like I told you, this is very information heavy and it's well delivered. He's very easy to listen to, but there's just so much that he's talking about that I just want to listen to it again and, you know, kind of get it again. Other than that, I'm just really trying to get back into a normal routine, and like, I'm sorry, my head really hurts. My body is telling me I need to get back into a regular routine because I don't get headaches very often, but when I do, that usually means something's out of whack. And I think just between making these 2 trips, you know, we were in Charlotte twice within 10 days. And 7 of those days we were gone, and 3 we were home. And while we were home, it was busy, and I had a lot to do work-wise, and I had to clean all this furniture out. You know, we were taking down, she wanted her chest of drawers, so I had to clean that out and off because she had tons of stuff all over it. I mean, these clothes are not clothes that she wants down there at this point. They've been here for 3 years. You know, I guess, is that common? I don't know. I don't have anything to compare this to. She's my first child who's actually gone away to college and left a whole lot of stuff at home. Do they come back? Do they ever reclaim their clothes? I don't know. It's not like she's grown a whole lot. She could still fit into them, but yeah, I have the feeling I'm going to be putting a lot of stuff in like the Goodwill bags and stuff. But anyway, so I had to clean out her chest of drawers so they could take that down. And then she wanted the couch. We have an old couch in the basement, and they needed a couch for their little living room, so we took that. And then I offered her bookcases because I had 2 tall bookcases in here, and then I had 3 shorter bookcases in my bedroom. And initially she just wanted the one tall one, which was fine, and it was actually the one that was housing like mostly yarn and my project bag, so it was the easiest one to clean off. If she had wanted this other one, or if I was going to give her the other one, which is just, it's kind of a cruddy bookcase, that's the one that has all my books on it. That would have been a pain in the butt to have cleaned off. But anyway, so I gave her the big bookcase. And then when we were down there for graduation, we were at her apartment. We were looking, and they have there's a big like cabinet thing off their little dining area that is actually, it's got hookups for laundry stuff. But they're not going to get a washer and dryer because there's also laundry facilities at the apartment complex. And so she said, well, we just kind of want to use this maybe as like pantry and storage and stuff, but there's no shelves in it. So she asked if 2 of the smaller bookcases, if I thought that would work, and they would. We measured and they would fit perfectly. So I cleaned off 2 of the smaller bookcases that were in my bedroom, which happened to be the 2 that did have books on them. So I now have a lot of books just in boxes. I don't have anywhere to put them up at the mountain house yet either, though, because I don't have bookcases really up there yet other than the ones that are on my hutch on my desk. So they're just stored in boxes for right now. But it's just been a lot of cleaning stuff and moving stuff around and trying to figure out what to do with stuff. Because I don't even have that much stuff of mine that I can purge, really, because I've done a lot of cleaning out and getting rid of stuff over the last few years. So I don't have much left in that kind of stuff to get rid of, but I need to figure it out. So anyway, that's basically what we've been doing. But it's just like when you travel a lot, you're not eating at the same time, or you're not eating the same kind of foods, and you're just out of your routine, at least for me. Not sleeping in your own bed, not sleeping normal hours. So I just start to feel really off. And like right now, I'm just feeling off. And I think that's why I've had a headache for 2 days. And plus my lower back has been bothering. Well, my lower back's been out of whack ever since we were shoveling and digging and doing all that work up the mountain house. I've really been babying it though the last couple of weeks because I was really starting to fear that I had actually injured it. Like it was beyond just a muscle thing. I really thought maybe I did something to a disc or something because I was having so much discomfort. But actually it's, knock on wood, it is feeling pretty decently. I mean, it's still quite stiff, but I've been, like I said, I've been doing yoga, which has been very helpful. I've been trying to get downstairs and kick my heavy bag. If I do front kicks on my heavy bag, that really kind of helps. Don't ask me why, but it does. And yesterday I took my bike out. I went down, there's a trail, like an old rail trail near the mountain house, and I went down yesterday morning and I rode my bike for an hour. Riding my bike always makes my back feel better, and I think that's why it feels so good today. So I think I'm going to try to get down there and ride a few times a week to help my back. I've just been putting a lot of ice on it though, and I've been trying not to take Advil too often just because the Advil kind of messes with my stomach. But Advil is what usually helps over Tylenol or anything else. So anyway, it sucks getting old. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I've got TNNA coming up, which I know that's going to disrupt life again for me. But hopefully, I'm just trying to be good to myself while I am home before that trip. So we'll see. Yeah, otherwise, that's pretty much what's going on. I do have a little bit of shop news. First of all, I already mentioned the new Fiber Nymph Dye Works Instagram account. Please follow that if you want to stay in touch with everything that's going on. That I'm posting just Fiber Nymph Dye Works stuff. I'm not posting that on my private account anymore. And again, like I said, I've got one more $25 gift certificate that I'll be doing a drawing for this Saturday. So if you have, and that's from my followers on that Instagram account, the new account. So if you haven't followed that yet, it's Fiber Nymph Dye Works, all one word, is that Instagram account. Follow that and you could possibly win a $25 gift certificate to the shop. What else? The Barber Pole Fiber Club, that has shipped. The first shipment went out on Tuesday, actually. So I know a couple people have gotten theirs already. I hope you enjoy it. I had fun dyeing it up, and I hope you enjoyed the inspiration picture I sent along as well. The Summertime KAL Knit Along and Crochet Along begins today, June 1st. I'm so excited. I really hope we end up with a lot of people participating. I know the people who have been posting seem very excited about it. I'm just really looking forward to it because I've never done a specific knit along in the Fiber Nymph Dye Works group specifically for using Fiber Nymph Dye Works yarn before. So this is new, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys make. Again, everything is written up in the main Summertime KAL thread in the Fiber Nymph Dye Works group. But I just started the June thread for your finished objects. And that's a no chatter thread, but please feel free to chatter in the main KAL thread. I would encourage that, actually. I may do random drawings for random prizes here and there out of that thread as well as the finished object threads. Anyway, in case you haven't followed, June is for self-striping yarn. It can be any self-striping yarn of mine, any weight, I mean. So, you know, fingering, worsted, whatever. It can be inversibles because that's a self-striping yarn. But it does have to be Fiber Nymph Dye Works yarn. That's kind of the point of this knit along. So it's about stripes. It's not like if you're making something that you stripe with multiple colors of yarn, that doesn't count. It actually has to be self-striping yarn. The other one you can use for other months. Anyway, if you do not have your yarn yet and you would like to grab something out of the shop, because there is quite a bit of self-striping and inversibles in the shop right now, I do have a coupon code going on that I advertised earlier this week. I advertised it in that thread earlier this week. So that's the other thing. Check that thread, because if I'm going to offer things specifically for the knit along, that'll be the first place that I will post it. Anyway, it is for 15% off if you're placing an order that has self-striping yarn in it. You can use the coupon code SSS Stripes, all capital letters. I'll put it down here. Hopefully, I remember. I'll have it in the show notes. And that will be through the 5th of June, so Monday. And that way also, anything that you order by Monday, I will be able to get shipped out to you before I leave to go to TNNA. So you'll have it in plenty of time to use it in June for the June part of the knit along. What else? There will be an update. I really wanted to get an update ready before I went away to TNNA. But with all this traveling and that trip last weekend, which we hadn't originally known we were going to do it last weekend. It could have been last weekend or it could have been this coming weekend. It ended up being last weekend. So it just sort of threw me off. Anyway, I'm just not going to get an update up before I leave. However, I am going to do an update while I'm gone. There will be an update on Friday, June 9th, but I'm doing it at 9 a.m. I know, weird time, but I know I'm going to have things going on in the evening that evening, so I can't do it in the evening. I will do it at 9 a.m. on Friday, June 9th. Which means I will have everything up in preview mode in the shop by the end of the day on Wednesday before I leave for TNNA. And I'm hoping to get just a really short shop update preview video recorded on Wednesday as well to show you everything that will be up on Friday. It's not going to be a huge update, but I can tell you there's going to be a new pie colorway coming in that update, as well as the first in a series of my swirl stripes. As I said, the Boldberry swirl colorway that I did exclusively for the Down Cellar Studio splash pad party, that is one of them. That one will not be available in my shop because that was an exclusive for just splash pad party, but I'm going to be doing a series of that similar type throughout this summer. So the first of those will be going up in the shop on Friday as well. I also hope to have fiber going up in the shop. Tour de Fleece, if you participate in Tour de Fleece, that starts on July 1st this year. So in my next couple of updates, I do hope to have fiber offerings for you so that you can have some fun new things to spin for Tour de Fleece this year. Alrighty, that is everything I've got for you this week. I am sorry for the coughing, and I'm sorry about complaining about my headache. Hopefully it was okay other than that. But I hope you're having a great week, and I will talk to you briefly next week, and I will fill you in on TNNA and everything else after I get back from my trip. So look for a podcast early that next week, the week of the 14th, sometime early that week. So, all right, that's everything. Take care, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.